Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a look at the Taurian Concordat faction store, which is available once you have allied with the Taurian Concordat, and this will be a little bit outdated. From my understanding, there's a decrease or outright elimination of partial mech salvage available in faction stores as of the most recent update. I could be wrong about that, but I think that should be the only difference here between what you might see today and what you might see if you were running Battletech Advanced 3062 completely up to date. However, considering, well, updates tend to roll out pretty fast, and most people's campaigns are, well, significantly slower, some of you who are running older versions might find this helpful. So we're going to split things up and first take a look at the weapons on offer. And I gotta say, I really like these. I'm not a big fan of a normal PPC, which is why I basically never use it. I know the range is nice, the stability damage is nice and all that, and the PPC accuracy debuff is good. It has a lot of things going for it, but I find that the heat generation is just a little bit more than what I tend to enjoy. But light PPCs offer, I think, quite a good middle ground. So it's 3 tons and only 25 damage for those 3 tons, so it's not the most weight efficient option. But for that weight, you get a maximum range of 720, which far outdoes medium lasers or ER medium lasers. You get 10 additional stability damage, which is worth something, and it's 15 heat, which isn't that hot for the tonnage. You also get 1 evasion pip ignored, very nice, plus 2 accuracy against anything with evasion, and PPC scrambles target systems for 1 accuracy, as noted down here on the bottom right. So I think this is quite a nice weapon. I'm going to be picking up a couple of them, actually. Just go ahead and do that right now. Yeah, I'll pick up about 8. And we have also heavy PPCs. Now these are the exact other end. They don't get the ignores evasion like the light PPC does. Again, 1 evasion pip ignored by the light PPC. But the heavy PPC does have an additional 3 scrambling. So base PPC scrambled for 2, -2 on the next shot from whoever you hit with this. The heavy PPC increases that to 3, the light PPC decreases it to 1. Additionally, we're dealing now 75 damage, which for 10 tons is respectable. It's not amazing necessarily. You could have, for example, an Ultra AC5 coming in at around the same tonnage. It'll get you a little bit more damage, maybe a little bit more stability damage, and be much cooler. But 45 heat for the heavy PPC really isn't terrible. 4 slots isn't bad. 10 tons is a little heavy, but not terrible. And again, you have that 720 meters max range, which is quite nice. There's also the snub-nose PPC. These, I have to admit, I don't quite understand, which is interesting because I do really enjoy really fast medium mechs, really fast heavy mechs that can get up close and personal. It's just that even with those mechs, you often end up having a couple rounds at long range, and the weapon fall off on the snub-nose PPC, which is, I guess, the shotgun version of a PPC, is pretty severe. So it begins to fall off at 450 meters, first at 280, then again at 450. So if you're shooting at anything above 450 meters, that 65 nominal damage is going to be more like 15 or 20, which is tiny. Like, you'd be better off with a light PPC at that range, especially for the weights, right? So you can run 2 of these light PPCs for 1 snub nose, and these don't have any damage fall off, which makes them far more effective at medium to long range. I guess, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there are times it's useful, and once you do get in close, these will be much more impactful than a light PPC. Maybe just not for me. We also have the recoilless rifle available for battle armor. I tend to prefer the King David Gauss rifle, which is a battle armor Gauss rifle. Does about the same damage, but the stability damage here is very nice. 2 evasion pips ignored is wonderful, and 8 rounds of internal ammo is pretty significant sustained firing. Again, the ammunition cost on most battle armor guns is relatively cheap. So those are the weapons. No ammunition, and some of these that do have ammunition in the faction stores, it's because they have non-energy weapon special weapons, but of course, Taurian Concordat, light PPCs, there's no ammunition required. And now we get into something a bit more interesting. So equipment. We start off with our standard contracts. Most faction stores will offer some sort of contracts. Tank airdrop, Talos, which is the battle armor. Battle mech. Sorry. And then we have the Asterian battle armor right here below it. So standard contracts. The permanent one is nice. I was actually debating picking one of these up because I think dropping battle armor would be really kind of hilarious and useful at the same time. but I was going to go back to Free Worlds League, pick up theirs, because I like the Phalanx Battle Armor a little bit better, but I'll show you the Battle Armor in a minute. The cool thing about the Taurian Concordat faction store, in my opinion, is best-in-class targeting systems. So ballistic evasion, energy evasion, missile evasion, +2 evasion ignored. With each type of weapon, you do have to specialize, and that can be a little bit annoying, but for example, this can go onto our Thunderbolt Atlas, and even though he has the 2 large lasers that won't benefit, we'll be getting +4 accuracy against anything with 2+ evasion with our Thunderbolts, and that's wonderful. That'll take a bad shot and make it a good shot. And, you know, considering long-range indirect fire, you often want to be starting off very early when your enemy is still moving pretty quickly. That's a wonderful thing. So we're going to buy one of those as well. Only one right now. I need a little bit of cash before I really buy more. And then this truly amazing upgrade right here. A bracing cockpit. +3 accuracy when activated. Only 5% walking distance and 5% jump distance allowed. And this is crazy. This basically turns your mech into a turret, but +3 accuracy. And let's think about this. We get +3 from this. If I was to put this in our Thunderbolt Atlas and do the missile evasion on top of it, we'd be at +7 compared to normal against anything with 2+ evasion, which is pretty wonderful. And it's activatable, so you can activate and deactivate to be on the move as normal. So we're going to buy one of those as well, and yeah, I have basically no money left. we'll have to deal with that. That's alright, and there are ways around that. Now let's take a look real quick at the mechs. So, well, to start off, I guess, with the battle armor. Asterion battle armor, it is the Taurian Concordat faction special, and I tend to think that the Phalanx battle armor is a little bit more useful. It's roughly the same movement and durability, but coming with those SRM4s, you get a lot more crit seeking and even just higher base damage coming out of the Phalanx battle armor. So I like this a little better. You have the Clint, which is, so, okay, if we ignore some of the parts and just focus on the mechs on offer, well, I guess, and the parts represent different mechs as well, there's a good smattering. So you have the Clint, which is a light, well, I guess a lighter medium mech. You have a Devastator, which, I don't know, I've never used one, but they come with multi-track, which can be good if you like to have, you know, a lot of different missile systems or things like that, and use one mech as a crit seeker on a couple different things, but I don't tend to love split firing. Yeah. It's an interesting 100-tonner though. A couple AC-10s in there, it could be very effective. So, you know, we could try that out maybe later on. Talos, Mackie. I do love Mackie. It's one of the first battle mechs ever made, of course, in the lore. The first, I think. And yeah, it may not be the most effective thing that you ever field, but it is just very nice. And holy cow. Mackie improved communications, +4 increased resolve game for all Lance members. That alone makes it worth it, in my opinion. I will have to see about fielding one of these. So, the Ostwar, the Roughneck, Stinger as a full mech. No, it's a version with Endosteel, which is pretty nice. 20-ton mechs tend to be mostly just scout vehicles. So you'll put a pilot in there with sensor lock, something like that, and see what you can do. Won't really be providing too much fire support. An AMS in here is actually pretty nice. So you have a 20-ton mech just supporting everyone else. Talos. I ran a Talos, I think, a couple campaigns ago. It was very nice. You can make it run pretty quick, which is what I like mostly about it. Guillotines, Tauros, Valkyries, good smattering of light, medium, heavy, and assault. And finally, we have the Warhammer 6R. So this is a version that is, I don't know, it's not high-tech, it's not increased tech for things like that, but it's a Warhammer. It does come with the Warhammer Rugged perk, which particularly if you are kind of struggling in your campaign, can provide you a little bit of extra flexibility, I guess. Well, not flexibility, resiliency, that's a better word for it. You get additional structure points, and that can be the difference between life and death, but you also get a higher stability threshold. What this means is that anything with the Rugged perk, including the Warhammer, you can use as a forward mech a lot easier, because if you're taking LRM volleys, if you're taking PPC shots, if you're taking all this incoming fire, you're not going to get knocked over as quickly. So that's a wonderful thing. It does, I think, take up the gyro slots? No, it might not. No, I don't think it does. That's that. Well, CT. Yeah, that could take the gyro slot. If it does, then of course you can't put in an increase and improved gyro as well. But I think it's a good improvement. Generally, if you are struggling and you have an option between two mechs, roughly equivalent, but one of them has rugged, you'll have an easier time with the one with rugged, assuming you can still get the weaponry and loadout that you want. Alright, well that's the Taurian Concordat faction store. Next time will be a little bit of a mech rebuild focusing on our Atlas, maybe a couple others as well. So thank you all for hanging around. We'll see you again real soon.